sweeping reforms to revitalize Nigeria's electricity distribution sector, starting with a pilot overhaul of two underperforming distribution companies. According to a statement by the Special Advisor Strategic Communications and Media Relations to the Minister of Power, Bolaji Tunji, the move follows a comprehensive assessment of systemic challenges plaguing the discos, including governance gaps, infrastructure deficits, and commercial inefficiencies. Power Minister Chief Adebayo Adelabu disclosed the plan after a meeting with the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, which presented a roadmap titled Revamping the Distribution Sector in Nigeria. The pilot scheme slated to commence between May and August this year, with target one disco in the north and another in the south. It aims to demonstrate a replicable model for operational turnaround, combining internal restructuring, external expertise, and federal oversight to achieve rapid improvements in service delivery. The Japanese agency's proposal emphasizes reforming discos from within by integrating outside experts, strengthening leadership, and aligning government support with short-term results in pilot zones to lay the groundwork for long-term sector-wide transformation. The minister stressed the urgency of the intervention, stating that the federal government cannot continue to watch the inadequacies of discos whose performances fall short of expectations. Petroleum marketers and retailers have indicated that Dangote Refinery's latest premium motor spirit ex-depot price reduction will lead to a retail price drop across filling stations nationwide. Report says the 650,000 barrels per day refinery based in Lekki, Lagos State offered customers a 10 naira refund on PMS bought at 835 naira per litre. The 10 naira refund was confirmed by the National Secretary of the Independent Petroleum Product Marketers Association of Nigeria and the National President of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Billy Gibbs Harry, in separate interviews. The latest drop in gantry price of Dangote Petrol implies that the refinery's partnering filling stations will adjust their petrol pumps in the coming days. An impeccable source at NNPCL, who preferred anonymity, said the state-owned firm may further relax its petrol price to around 880 naira or 900 naira per litre in the coming days. Reacting, IPMAN National Secretary James Toss said the petrol price reviews have become common following the deregulation of the country's downstream petroleum sector, adding that a reduction in Dangote refinery petrol prices is most likely to have a ripple effect across the market. In related development, the Group Chief Executive of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, has disclosed that the state-owned energy firm will resume oil drilling in the northern part of the country. Ojulari stated this in an interview with newsmen, adding that this comes over 2 years after the past administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari launched the crude oil drilling project on the border of Bauchi and Gombe states. Recall that Northerners had expressed joy over the plan by President Buhari to turn the region into an oil-rich zone like the Niger Delta, but the project failed to continue for undisclosed reasons. But the new headsman of the NNPCL, Ojulari, urged residents of the region to calm down because the national oil firm will return to work, assuring that the suspended project will be resumed under his leadership. According to him, oil drilling will continue in Kolmani and other places, with efforts to ensure the completion of the gas pipeline from Ajaokuta to Kano, stating that the project will allow previously closed companies to reopen with accruing benefits to the region. The federal government has commenced a revised insurance regulation for leased aircraft to enhance easy operations of airline businesses in the country. The new policy, launched through a collaboration between the National Insurance Commission and the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Management, aims to reduce the cost of air travel and make aircraft acquisition more accessible to domestic airline operators. This was announced in Abuja by the Commissioner for Insurance, Mr. Olusegun Omoseyin, with the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Kayamo, describing the initiative as a balanced national policy that meets global aviation standards. He pointed out that many international lessors and aircraft manufacturers require insurance coverage from the international market before permitting dry-leased aircraft to operate in Nigeria. According to Omashein, the revised framework seeks to address long-standing challenges surrounding insurance in aircraft leasing for local operators. He added that the regulation is set to streamline the leasing process for Nigerian airlines, hence the need to relax previous restrictions on foreign insurance requirements and increase the involvement of local insurers. The World Bank has described Nigeria's 2025 federal budget as overly ambitious, warning that the federal government may be forced to turn to the Central Bank of Nigeria's Ways and Means facility to finance likely revenue shortfalls. The bank gave this warning during the public presentation of its latest Nigerian Development Update report titled Building Momentum for Inclusive Growth in Abuja. President Bola Tinubu signed the 2025 Appropriation Act into law, approving a record budget of 54.99 trillion naira, the highest in Nigeria's history. The fiscal plan makes provision for 13.64 trillion naira in recurrent expenditure, 23.96 trillion naira for capital projects, 14.32 trillion naira for debt servicing, and 3.65 trillion naira for statutory transfers, while projecting a deficit of 13.08 trillion naira to be financed through domestic and external borrowing. The budget assumptions include a crude oil benchmark of 75 naira per barrel, oil production at 2.06 million barrels per day, an average exchange rate of 1,400 naira per dollar, and an inflation target of 15%. The World Bank's lead economist for Nigeria, Mr. Alex Sinrate, said that despite strong revenue gains recorded in 2024, Nigeria's 2025 budget assumptions remain optimistic and may prove difficult to meet. According to him, key assumptions such as average daily crude oil production of 2.1 million barrels per day and a benchmark oil price of $75 per barrel per day are unlikely to hold, noting that current production figures are closer to 1.6 million barrels per day. And now to sport. The president of Nigerian Tennis Federation, Mr. Ifedayo Akindoju, has felicitated with 3 Nigerian tennis referees following their certification by the International Tennis Federation as white badge referees. Reports asserted that the trio of Joseph Idili, Bitrus Danjuma, and Folashade Ogunshola achieved the feat in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. Akindoju gave the commendation during a reception organized by the NTF in their honor night in Abuja. He commended the referees for making the federation and the country so proud, noting that what they had achieved was no mean feat. The president stressed that their achievement will have a positive impact on Nigerian tennis, adding that it will enhance officiating standards, promote tennis development, as well as inspire young officials in the country. The certification of Nigerian referees will improve the quality of officiating in local and international tournaments, and Nigeria can attract more international tennis events and promote the growth of tennis in the country. And now to the foreign scene. The Amnesty International has criticized the move by Rwandan authorities to accept immigrants from the United States. The right group says the deal contravenes the Refugee Convention as it faulted the asylum process, claiming it is a risk of violating international law on migration and that there is still no certainty in its success. The senior campaigner at Amnesty International, Christian Rumo, raised the concern of similar risk of revolvement of people who were deported from the UK to Rwanda. He noted the issue around the asylum processes in Rwanda, in particular with regard to appeal opportunities. According to him, there is a real risk of violation of international law that Rwanda is putting migrants through with this deal. Rwanda has argued it has space to help alleviate what many countries in Europe and the United States human rights advocates have long raised concern over the deaths in Rwandan custody of some perceived government critics, as well as the alleged killings of others who sought exile in places like South Africa. And that ends the evening news. Please join us at 7 for major report. Good evening.